Last week, President Cyril Ramaphosa signed into law amendments to the Companies Act, which promotes the ease of doing business and imposes greater corporate transparency. The amendments to the Companies Act in relation to beneficial ownership give the CIPC a mandate to request companies to file and update beneficial ownership information as and when applicable. The purpose of the Beneficial Ownership Register is to ensure that companies, including non-profit companies and closed corporations, keep a record of natural persons who own or control the legal company. The chairperson of the Standing Committee on Corporate Law, Professor Katz, detailed the advantages of beneficial ownership, which he says go far beyond fighting crime. Katz says this is something that the country should be approaching enthusiastically.
Disclosing information in corporate registries stimulates foreign investment in a country, as corporate registries are often the first public institutions which aspiring entrepreneurs interact with, and therefore making information about a business easily accessible can facilitate business transactions by removing unnecessary steps and reducing transaction costs. By making corporate information publicly available, investors are able to make sound decisions when deciding who to do business with, and clients and suppliers are able to obtain relevant information about service providers and competitors.
The country has put this requirement in place to address the Financial Action Task Force's concerns. This puts the country a step closer to meeting FATF's requirements, which will see South Africa exit the grey list. The Financial Intelligence Centre is hopeful that South Africa will be able to demonstrate a credible case as it works to get off the grey list.
8-lane race. We've got 8 strategic issues. The law enforcement component is the greater part of it. But in order to get off the grey list, all 8 lanes must be passed by January 2025. We are currently sitting now with demonstrating under IO7 that we have a sustained increase in law enforcement action. And that's what is the big issue now. It says we need to demonstrate a sustained increase in investigations and prosecutions of serious and complex money laundering. Serious and complex? Read beneficial ownership. Supplant the words beneficial. In other words, serious and complex that is facilitated through complex structures. Beneficial ownership sits at the core of that. So that's the issue. Will we be able to, by January 25, demonstrate that we have an increased, sustained increase? So we now have demonstrated, if you read the papers, we now have the very successful MPA attachment of regiments, the assets, a few billion, right? And all of that counts. But the platform is, are we able to show a good foundation and then sustained increase between now and January? And I'm hopeful, based on what we are seeing in the papers, you're not privy to the papers, that we should be able to make a credible case. But it's not going to be easy going, admittedly. It's not easy.
CIPC says introducing the Beneficial Ownership Register, nearly 300,000 companies have complied with the obligation, and it has granted access to the register to law enforcement agencies and financial services institutions, amongst others. Diabo Seto, SABC News, Johannesburg.